All right. All right. All right. All right. How's everyone doing out there? Wake Up Justin is live. It is 11202025, November 11th. No, sorry, not November 20th, 2025. You already know. I'm here. We're live. We're up. It's the morning. Wake Up Justin. I'm Justin. How's everyone doing out there? Hope everyone had a good day yesterday. Um, got some things done, did some things, looked out, did a bunch of stuff. Before the show starts, we're gonna say a little prayer out of the prayer Saints book. I'm just gonna turn to a page and I'm not even looking. Look, whoop. Saint John Vianney, The Cure for Ours. Saint John Vianney, I don't even know how to say his Vianney, the parish priest in the villages of Ars France, was a man of simple means and simple taste, humble and modest. He possessed remarkable common sense. His approach to holiness reflected his simple, homespun attitude towards life. Yet stories of his miracles, especially the ability to recognize secret sin, continued to be told. His prayer is indicative of his down-to-earth holiness. This is the prayer of the saint. Oh my God, come to me so that you may dwell in me and I may dwell in you. Amen. And that's yeah, prayers of the saints, an inspired collection of holy wisdom. So, um so today's show is going to be I don't even know where to begin at this point because I have a lot to say um for this show today. Um, First and foremost, once again, my opinions, my thoughts, directly from me, my own brain, my own mind, coming from me and me only. What I believe in and what I think. This is me. This is who I am. I won't be censored. I won't hold back. I'll say what I want to say. And I'll do what I want to do because once again, no one on this earth has real power. The power goes to the Lord and his Son. They're the ones with the true power. No one else has any power but them. So I'll get that out of the way first of all. And you'll catch me sometimes when I talk about things, I'll say they have power and I'll switch it and be like, no, they have control because I'm trying to rewire my brain. So I know that no one on this earth living has any true power at all. No one. All they have is control. Even Satan himself has no real power. He just has control. So, um, so if you're hear me catch myself and try to fix myself, that's the reason why. So I want to make sure you know out there that no one has any true power in this world or in this right now. The only power goes to the Father and the Son in the kingdom, and that's it. That's the only power that exists in this life. I don't even know where to begin. I don't, because it's like there's so much. So first of all, I'm gonna begin here. I'm gonna pull up the image real quick, and then I'll touch upon it more, and we'll dive from there, I guess, and we'll start at the basics of things, because even though politics affects everyone's life, it affects my life and it affects your life, that's not the end all be all. It's not the means of everything. You know, the spiritual war that goes behind the scenes of everything is really what matters. Who, you know, the politicians and everything like that. I mean, it matters because, hold on a second. It matters because, you know, it affects your life. It affects your money and and the way you're living. So obviously politics and politicians like that do matter because it affects your way of life currently. So I'm not going to sit here and say that stuff doesn't matter because it matters somewhat, but it doesn't matter as much as where your soul goes when you die. That's what the most important thing is like where is your soul going to go when you perish from this earth is really what matters the most. And that's what you should be concerned with the most. And I can't save you. I can't. Only Jesus can save you. I cannot save you. I don't have the power to save people. Jesus has the power to save people. I can lead you to Jesus. I can lead you so you can meet him and shake his hand and talk with him. But for me to personally save you, I mean, you have to accept Jesus to get to the Father. So I can lead you to him, I can whatever, but I personally can't save anyone. You gotta save yourself. I can lead you to salvation, but at some point you have to reach your hand out for to meet Jesus' hand and grab it and take it and let him lift you up from wherever you're from and whatever spot you're in. So I also want to say that first of all, I can lead you to Jesus, but you have to reach out and take his hand. I cannot do it for you. Just like the old adage of, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's the same thing like that. So I also want to get that out of the way too. Um, no one on this earth has power, and you have to save yourself. I can lead you to salvation, but at the end of the day, you have to be the one to stick your hand out to grab Jesus' hand and take it on your own. I can't forcibly make you grab his hand. um, this is the pain that I'm talking about. Man playing chess against the devil, right? I'm gonna start here because I think this is, um, you know, the basis of how you should look at life. And I will say, Andrew Tate gives a description of the chessboard, but he does it in a literal sense. He's not showing you behind the veil. He's showing you in front of the veil about women, money, possessions, material things, which really don't matter in this world. Um, Life, the chessboard, black and white, good and evil. This is why Freemasons always have checkerboards wherever they go, and black and white, yin and yang, good and evil, all that stuff exists because that's the checkerboard, good and evil, right? Now, this man playing chess against the devil, right? And I asked you you can go back on my YouTube channel, whatever, and you can look at this, and you can see that I've always asked that question, what tests what tests the strengths, what tests the good in men's hearts? What what is the limit test to prove you're a good person? This is it right here. Um, it's you playing chess against the devil himself. That's the test. That shows how good of a person you are. Can you outplay the devil in the game of life? That's what you're doing. You're moving your pieces on the board against the devil. It's kind of like so like nothing in the universe can overpower something, right? It has to, you know, whatever. But the creator who creates all is the highest, most powerful thing we have, right? So if the creator that creates all is the highest, most powerful thing we have, um, to test his creation, what would he do? He would send his son down to earth to play chess against the devil himself, because the devil has control of this realm. And that's how God tests you in this realm, is he leaves you in the watch of the devil to make sure you have a pure heart and you're pure to him. It's kind of like those shows you see when the guy or the girl wants to test their girlfriend or boyfriend, right? And they set him up with someone, whatever, and they watch from a different room, and the other person tries to steal their girl or their boyfriend from them, right? It's the same thing like this. God leaves you in the company with the devil to see if the devil can take you away from God to test you. That's what's going on in life. And you're playing a game of chess against the devil. You're the king or the queen, whatever which one, you know. And even the pieces are black and white on this board. You know what I mean? And like Andrew Tate will say, the queen, she can move everywhere because she's a woman and she has freedom, blah blah. But that's not it at all, dude. That's the wrong kind of teaching, bro. Chess is spiritual. If you're the king on the chessboard, you want and the king once is captured loses the game. Well, you don't want the devil to capture your king, do you? And the people you surround yourself with are your chess pieces. The things you do and how you live and how you act and what you see and what you watch and what you eat and what you do in your free time. All those things are your pieces on the chessboard. And you want to move all your pieces to protect your king against the devil. You don't want the devil to capture your king, do you? If the devil captures your king, you lose your soul. And that's what this realm is. It's the testing and proving ground for your love for the Father. And he lets Satan have control over this realm for that fact. I believe once you're born in this world, right? When you come into this world and you're born into this world, you're born a pure of heart. You have no sin. But you're also born, you know, unto Satan's control. So you're automatically born into sin because you're born in the control of Satan. But you're also born with a pure heart, right? This is also why that, anyone who touches a child or harms the hair on a child's head shall never see the kingdom of God. For the fact is that you're born with a pure heart, and a child is defenseless. It can't defend itself. It has no knowledge, no knowing of life, no experiences, no nothing. Pure of heart, everything. So a person who harms a child, will never see the kingdom for the fact it's like, dude, you are literally harming a pure of heart, self-defenseless human who has done nothing in this world to harm anyone. Nothing. And you're harming that, and you're already, putting a dark stain on someone's heart before they can even fully even develop or live life. So I believe that's also why he says that, he says it in the Bible, like anyone who harms a child or whatever the saying is will never see the kingdom of God for that fact. It's like, dude, you're harming something that is so defenseless. It's such an evil act, like that's an evil person right there, in my opinion. It's like you're playing chess against the devil basically in life, and you want to put him in checkmate so he can't capture you or your soul. And that is, I believe, like I said, why Jesus was on earth and why God, sent his son down and came onto earth was to test his creation to make sure that Satan wasn't more powerful than what he created. And so it was a battle. It was the ultimate chess game. Jesus and Satan was the ultimate chess game. That's why when Jesus was fasting in the mountains, whatever, the devil came to him and said, I'll give you all the land, I'll give you all this, I'll give you everything, and tested him and all those things because God set down his son to make sure that what he built, wasn't stronger than the creator. So he set his son down to test the game to make sure. That's why victory and everything was already declared. Because Jesus beat the devil. He beat him in a game of chess. The devil's in checkmate. They put him in checkmate. With what it's I can't quite put that, like, wrap that in a bow for you, whatever, but you know, Jesus put the devil in checkmate for sure. And that's why victory's already declared, because it's already game over for the devil. Because one day, once everyone gets their stuff together and their life together, and the second coming comes, and people start realizing this kind of thing, it's like, dude, we don't have to live like this anymore. We don't. We have the power to change our path and the direction we're going at any moment, at any time in life, in the now. I think people are afraid to. I think people are afraid, because, like I said earlier too, you gotta stop telling yourself, how, and it's all how you talk to yourself. I'm finding out too. It's all the things you say to yourself. Because I'll give you an example. It's like, dude, I'm not the richest man. You know, I make a modest living. I'm not super rich. I don't have, you know, whatever. But like, I just tell myself, I need to survive to the next paycheck. I need to survive. I need to survive to the next paycheck. I need to survive to this. I need to make it to that. Dude, now I'm just telling myself I need to live. You know, I gotta live for the next check. I gotta live. I gotta live. Instead of telling yourself you need to survive, you need to tell yourself you need to start living. Get that survivor mentality out of your brain and tell yourself, I'm gonna start living my life. I'm gonna live till I get paid next. Because I think a lot of people are doing that. They like you hear it, you hear it all the time. Um, people are just like, oh, I'm just surviving, just getting by. People don't realize too, like the things you say to yourself and how you speak to yourself matter greatly in this world. I don't think people realize that. I don't think that's talked about enough. Because for us to change this, we have to like start looking at ourselves and taking self accountability of what we've done in life and our own actions. We need to stop blaming other people, religions, other sexes, whatever it may be. You need to take a look at yourself in the mirror. A hard look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, have I fully committed myself to the ways of Jesus and his Father? And am I living my life truthfully, purposefully in alignment with what Jesus was teaching? Because once again, this is a spiritual battle. It's natural. You, like there's like natural law. I once again, natural law. I know I bring this up a lot. Natural law, the self-recurring governance of the universe itself in nature. Difference, nature, not spiritual, nature. That's how nature works. We're not part of, well, we could be, well, yeah, but nature, natural law. Well, same thing would happen. Well, same things happen. Same kind of law applies to the spiritual law of man. Kind of, it has to be a self-governing, self-reliant system. You know, people people shouldn't control their people. People shouldn't control their people, and people shouldn't have power over other people. Because once again, no one has any power on this world. No one alive today has any power. No one, not a soul. Your life right now shouldn't be about life. It should be about preparation for the afterlife. And if you were preparing yourself now for the afterlife, you'd be living a different kind of life. It's how you live now. I know all we have right now is this moment in time right now. So what you do now matters. So every moment, everything you do in this moment, in the now, should be set up for the afterlife. I know that sounds weird, and that's kind of like, but you need to like start training your brain like that, almost in a kind of, in a way of like, am I doing, what I'm doing today and my actions I'm taking the day, what if I died right now, where would my soul go? You know, if you're out if I decided to go to the strip club tonight, and I went to the strip club and I was drinking beers and watching girls dance and stuff like that, and I asked myself if I died right now, how would that look? It probably wouldn't look very too good, would it? So I think we should living in the now, but for the but for what comes next. I'm telling you, dude, I will make a prediction right now. Once the old guard leaves this earth, it's on. I'm telling you. Once the old guard is off this earth, it's on. I don't think people understand that yet. And I want people, and I'm not trying to put fear or put fear in people's hearts or try to, stoke the flames of fear. But I don't think people realize like once the old guard of this earth is done with, yo, it's on, man. I don't think people are ready for it yet. I don't think people realize what's coming. I don't think they do. But once the old guard falls from this earth, and I'm talking the old guard, like my parents, your parents, you know, 50, I would say 50 and above, once they're gone off this earth, ooh, baby, it's game over. It's game on. Let the fun begin. That's when it's really gonna pop off. You can see it now. You can see it now. The lines in the sand are being drawn right now. You can see it. I can see it at least. And the only thing that's holding people, and the only thing that's kind of like separating people apart right now is the old guard of Earth, really. But once that's gone, dude, um, the power structure will totally shift, and once again, it's not power, it's control. The control structure will totally shift, and every person is looking every not every person, but every different race, religion, whatever is looking for a part of their control in this United States. So I'm telling you, dude, once the old guard of this earth is gone, man, you better get ready. Because like I said, once again, it's not about race. It's gonna be more about like Christians, the Islams, the Jewish people. You're gonna have religions fighting each other for control. Because um, I think when it comes to it, I would say probably Americans probably like young Americans. I would say like I'm 37 right now, so I'd say people like my age and below, are probably in America at least are probably the most um, unreligious, unreligious part of the world probably. People should be telling you, people should be telling you live modestly, take what you need, give to others, don't be selfish, help people in need, love each other, care for one another, and all those things. People shouldn't be saying, oh, take what you want. You know, you should only worry about making money, getting girls, and all those things. 'Cause that's not what life's about, man. Life should be, like I said, setting yourself up for your afterlife, man. And every move you make, and every decision and what you do in life, and how you go throughout your life, you're playing chess against the devil. And if you're not ready for that, and if you're not like aware of it or spiritually prepared for it, well, guess what? The devil's been playing chess for a very long time. Imagine like you never playing chess, then you try to play against a grandmaster. This is why I believe, this is why anyone can be saved at any point and repent and be saved. Um, it's because it's like, I if this is not I'm not talking and why I give this analogy, this is not I'm talking like a legit game of chess. If I have never played chess in my life, like actual chess in my life, and I go against, a grandmaster in chess who's ranked 10th in the world, and I get beat, no one's gonna be like, "Oh, that guy sucks. He got beat by a grandmaster." They're gonna be like, "Well, nice try, dude. Like you played against the grandmaster. Nice try." But it's like you would still learn from that experience no matter what. You know what I mean? That's kind of like in life itself. At first it's like, okay, nice try when you're playing chess against the devil, whatever it may be. I think the devil starts off small when you're a child. He kind of like tempts you by like small things, like giving a lie once in a while, or stealing, or very small things to test you. You know what I mean? And as you grow up, you learn that those things are bad and you shouldn't do those things. So you learn the game of chess a little more and more as you go through life, right? And this is why, as you get older, the game of chess ramps up, and the difficulty level gets higher because you become more accustomed to the game itself. As you get older, all of a sudden your parent passes away. Well, that's a whole different game of life. That's a whole different side of chess you never played with before, and that's a whole different aspect of things. But by then you should be more capable of playing the game against whatever it may be. Um, That's why I said. That's why I believe you are redeemable at any point, because you kind of like understand it, and you're like, all right, I get it now. You know what I mean? And you gotta give it up to God. Um, so like, um, man, I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, as an American, you know, I believe we have let our society, our children, and ourselves down, and we become like lazy sloths, gluttonous, and all those things of sin, which has now consumed us and is slowly starting to destroy us. And if you don't cut off the limb and appendage now, it will eventually destroy the whole body. And I think people are starting to grasp that, but instead of blaming themselves and then blaming their actions over the last 30 years or whatever, they're trying to blame other countries and other religions instead of like blaming the fact that we as Americans created this problem by becoming lazy, complacent, feeding our children garbage food, not standing for anything, not standing up for anything, not taking, drawing a line in the sand on a subject or nothing like that, dude. We've let politicians, businesses, big tech, um, pharmaceuticals, all those run roughshod over us, our families, and this and America. They have run roughshod over us, and we allowed it. So to say that other countries or religions are the problem is wrong, dude. It's us as Americans. We're the problem, dude. It's a fact we allow this to happen to us is the problem. We should never allow this to happen in the first place. You know, we let America fall so far behind that we have to ask other countries for money to help us. Otherwise, we are going to sink. But you got to realize in doing, and this is why, I said it yesterday on my stream, Trump is walking a fine line for the fact that he promised American first to the most, the majority of Americans voted for Trump on his American first policies. I'm going to put Americans first. But they don't realize is that America fell so far behind in the times by being lazy, complacent dummies and letting everyone just run over us that, you know, we have to borrow money, and we have to our countries and invest in our country. And guess what, dude? They're gonna want something in return. The Prince of Saudi Arabia or whatever doesn't give 600 billion or whatever he's given to the United States for free. That doesn't come free. Of course he's gonna want visas for his friends and his family, and set up and let his friends and family or whatever set up corporations in the United States to enrich their families and expand their kingdom further and further. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they? The opportunity is there. Can you really blame them for it? Especially if we allow it to happen, and we allowed it to happen, it's already happened. But um, then again, like I said, we have no one to blame but ourselves at this point as an Americans. You know, uh, so to blame other um, countries or whatever for our downfall is is preposterous to me because we are the reason why we're on a downfall. But at some point, like Americans, we have to start doing better. That's the thing. If if you want America back and we want our country back or whatever, we have to start doing better as individuals. We got to start treating each other better. We got to start, teaching our kids the right things, feeding them the right kind of foods. It's not, I'm halfway through my life, dude. I can, the only thing I can do right now is, set up things and things in places for future generations to come and set the groundwork for that, because um, this isn't going to change overnight. I can't. No one's going to be able to snap their fingers and fix this problem within 4 years. It took us what? I was born in the uh, late '80s or whatever, dude. It took almost 40 years to get to this point. It's a 40-year decline. Probably going to be about 30 40 years to get back to even to that level again. But it's going to take teaching the kids and the future generations the right way of living, give them the right kind of education, feeding them the right kind of food, making sure they're getting the right kind of exercise, the right kind of spirituality, for 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 them to plant the seed in their kids to have a better future. So you're talking like four, 3 or 4 generations for, and that's if you start now. That's if you start right now. You're talking 3 or 4 generations will you start seeing the fruit of the labor if we put it in right now. If you're not going to try to become a better person and take self accountability for where America is right now, but you want to sit on the sidelines and complain about it, dude, then don't say anything at all. Just watch. Don't say anything because you're not going to try and better the situation or make it better, but just give your shitty commentary about how things are. Get the fuck out the way. No one needs that. I think that's really what is wrong with America is that the actual Americans don't want to take self accountability for where we are right now in America. They rather blame it on other things or other people or other religions than blame themselves. Nah, dude, maybe you watching football every Sunday for 7 hours instead of doing something good in your life. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you being more worried about celebrities and what they're doing and what they're saying. Maybe that was the problem. You ever think about that? Maybe you not parenting your kids and letting them just run off and watch whatever on TV and watch whatever on the internet and not teaching them that porn is bad and these things are bad and what's bad and what's good. Maybe that was the problem. You ever think about that? Maybe the fact we let our politicians get away with murder. We let our politicians get away with murder. You ever think maybe that was the problem? It wasn't some other religion. It was us. We were the problem. We need to start taking self accountability. Dude, I remember when I was a kid, dude, if they would try, they would try to put something in the school system, dude, you would have 50 parents outside the school protesting about it. Nowadays, no one even does it anymore. They can do whatever, dude, they do whatever they want. You know what I mean? Because we let it get to that point, dude. We let it get to that point. That's why we let politicians get away with murder in this country, dude. Straight murder, and nothing happens for it. They have no repercussions for their actions at all, and they know it. We're all getting. I'll sit here every single day and tell you all, we're all getting played by everyone. We're all getting played, dude. They're using everyone, no matter what, for their own purposes. I don't know how else to say it, man. Do I blame Trump for what he's doing? No, I don't blame Trump for what he's doing. I don't blame him. I blame myself for not doing better in life but now I know better, so now I want to fix it. Well, at least fix myself so I can try to help the situation in some form or some way. So I know what's going on now. I see the bigger picture, and once you know something and understand something, it's like once you know something is bad for you, you shouldn't, you usually don't go back and just keep on doing it. You stop doing the thing that's bad for you. Um, so it's like I get the bigger picture. I see the bigger picture now. I'm not gonna just stand by. I mean, I'm gonna come in every morning and give my piece and give my mind and make reels and make shorts and send them out. Hopefully, it hits someone's ear and um. But yeah, I mean, I wish Americans would just start taking more self accountability. You know, your thought maybe it's all the broken homes in America that caused this problem we're in right now. I oh man, this is why America is the way it is now. It's because we had to let other countries in to give us money. Otherwise, it would have sunk, dude. The country would have failed, bro. It'd be gone right now. It wouldn't exist. So it's like either we figure out a way to become better to raise up our own citizens, or we just accept the fact that this is what we are right now, and it's gonna be like this, and it's gonna be like this. It's not gonna change if things don't get better. If we, that's the thing people don't realize too. If things don't change, it's gonna be the same thing. The same things that keep on happening. It's never gonna be different. So, and then you got, you know, geez, it's a whole, it's a whole cluster of a mess. It's a big clusterfuck. I just hate that people want to blame other things besides blaming themselves and blaming, you know, that's what really gets me is that you want to blame religions and other countries and all these things instead of blaming yourself in the first place for not caring enough. Like, yeah, maybe sports isn't all there is to life. No way, maybe, huh? Oh, maybe going to the bar every night isn't the way of life. No way, really, huh? Oh my gosh, no way. Who would have thought? So it's like I said, man, I don't know. At some point, we got to take more self accountability as Americans for the fact this is where we are right now in society, and it's because of us and no one else, because we allowed it to happen. And then they're going, dude, oh, I can go on forever about it. But anyways, let's continue. That's about an hour of me talking. I don't know what else I can really, it's a long discussion for me to chop up here and clip out. So we're gonna watch a couple of videos on YouTube now. I gotta calm down.